Trump's Charlottesville response stirs debate on domestic terrorism. President Trump is conspicuously avoiding the term domestic terrorism to describe the attack in Charlottesville, Virginia, that killed a 32-year-old woman and injured many others. The Saturday violence at a white supremacist rally has been almost uniformly characterized as an act of domestic terrorism by officials across the political spectrum, including by Attorney General Jeff Sessions, whose department is investigating the case. His language was a stark contrast to his insistence to the use of the term radical Islamic terrorism to describe Islamist extremism, a popular conservative position he embraced on the campaign trail. When will President Obama issue the words radical Islamic terrorism? He can't say it, and unless he will, the problem will not be solved, he tweeted following the December 2015 Islamic State in Iraq and Syria attack on San Bernardino, California. Trump's delay in denouncing white supremacist groups by name has been widely condemned even in his own party. It's a question the administration might have to answer fairly soon, why the president immediately reacts when it's Islamic terrorism but didn't do it in this case, said Matt Makowiak, a Republican strategist. Civil rights advocates for years have argued that the U.S. has a double standard when it comes to political violence, with only acts committed by Muslims labeled terrorism. The term is rarely applied, they say, to attacks by right-wing white extremists like Dylan Roof, who is charged with hate crimes after opening fire in a black church in South Carolina in 2015. When you don't take acts of political violence that are committed by white people, it suggests that non-white people are committing most of the acts of terrorism in the United States. And that's actually not true, said Don Hayter-Markle, who chairs the Department of Political Science at Kansas University. Cory Gardner and Ted Cruz caught Dr. Aaron Miller, who manages the Global Terrorism Database at the University of Maryland, by surprise. It's pretty remarkable how on all sides of the political spectrum, save one person in particular, people seem willing to use the term terrorism, Miller said. The administration has described the investigation as a civil rights probe, although Sessions on Monday morning said that it meets the definition of domestic terrorism in our statute. He added that both terrorism and civil rights investigators are working the case. Fields allegedly plowed his car into a crowd of counter-protesters who were peacefully marching, a deadly tactic that has been repeatedly employed by ISIS. Federal law defines domestic terrorism as violent acts within the United States, intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population or to influence government policy or conduct. The domestic terrorism designation can trigger enhanced investigative powers as well as bring what might otherwise have been a state case under federal jurisdiction. In the Roof case, then Attorney General Loretta Lynch took heat for declining to charge the case as terrorism. The emotionally charged debate highlighted the challenges the government faces in determining what constitutes domestic terrorism and how to handle it. Well, I really wouldn't call it terrorism. I don't know. Maybe. Circumstantial. Over time.